1 here. Let's see what these players have chosen. And it's going to be Hunter v Hunter. And this matchup, Morrow, is one that is very unforgiving because Hunter operates in a way that they like to take the board early and snowball and kill the opponent. If they don't get the board early, they kind of just lose. And when you're playing a Hunter mirror, you can go ahead and multiply that by 2.
Yeah, I mean, Shy just came off of a series victory where the last last game was a Hunter mirror, so he's definitely quite adept at this matchup specifically, and his deck seemed to be pretty good for it as well. TJ was pointing out it is a little bit quicker than some of these mid-range Hunters, so.
Right, you do need to kind of have those early options in order to fend off something like this. Shy going to get the initial advantage here by getting the nice value trait 1-1 into the 2-1 fiery bat. But like you were mentioning, taking a look at the decks, ChongGEr has 1 copy of Abusive Sergeant, 1 copy of Argent Squire, 2 fiery bats, and on the side of Shy, we have 2 Abusives, no Argent Squires, 1 Unleash, and 1 Stranglethorn Tiger, as well as 2 fiery bats here. So difference in styles, just a little bit here.
Yeah. There we go. The big, bad, angry wolf does emerge from under those grandmother clothes.
Yeah, just taking out the clothes makes it stronger, I suppose. I guess those grandmother clothes are pretty constricting, I would say.
Yeah. It's just so pesky when Death Rattle, you know, second minion comes out. It's super hard to deal with here.
Yeah,
and without
we could just see Hero Power Pass.
Yeah, there's no real clear...
He's going to commit to the Deadly Shot.
Okay.
It doesn't...
That's pretty good.
I suppose, yeah, I guess you don't really want to kill the kind of grandmother. I think if it hit the grandmother, then he would have traded in, and then it would be a 3-2 versus nothing, but it ends up working out. And for Shy, he's starting to take the lead here with a couple of beasts on board and the follow-up with the Houndmaster. Not really sure how ChongGEr is going to get out of this one, barring some sort of crazy barns here.
Yeah, what could he really get that's...
Nothing really. They're all Death Rattles, right? There's no immediate, you know, effect onto the board, but if he does get his second high main here, then that could really help him in future turns, get some nice trades in. But gonna go for the safer route of the Infested Wolf, and I think he's maybe slightly misread the situation because the punish is coming. Houndmaster, whatever, I think Shy's gonna figure out what's the best Houndmaster here and just go for it and go all face. And that's gonna be 9 damage to the face here.
Yeah, just ignore that wolf. You don't want to have those spiders spawn there. When you want to force your opponent to do that for himself.
Right, and there's no real way to take advantage of those spiders. There's no Tundra Rhino in the deck of ChongGEr here, and Shy knows that, so he's just gonna make ChongGEr deal with it. And this feels bad, you know. You gotta really overkill the big bad wolf here and to get that out of the way. And wow, that is a lot of damage. I think it's time for Shy to just go all face here. This is 12 damage to the face, and he has 8 in hand, as well as the Hunter Hero Power, so...
Wow.
Yeah, this is looking pretty bad here for ChongGEr. Needs at least Unleash off the top just to even have a chance. Gets the tracking, but don't like ChongGEr's odds here. There might not even be a single card in the deck that saves him from dying here.
Yeah, what is he really looking for here?
Well, how much health is he at again? It's getting covered up by these cards. I think he's at 9. But the options are Argent Squire, Houndmaster, and Call the Wild, and none of those are going to save ChongGEr here. So it's going to be a concede, and Shy is 1 game closer to going to the winners finals, or excuse me, the grand finals.
Yeah, his Hunter deck really kind of excelling in these mirror matchups here, giving him 2 victories in a row over 2 series here.
Yeah, absolutely. So that leaves his Rogue and his Druid. The Rogue being a pretty typical questing adventure rogue.
Yeah.
I was looking earlier, doing research for this, Leda, or Radar. I can't believe his name is pronounced Radar. It says on our sheet here, but I'll go confirm that later. But if Leda had been into this winners finals, he actually would have brought a rogue that had Battle Teacher and Earth and Ring Farseer, rather than the 2 questing adventures. So a bit of a change in styles.
Like super old school.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of a change in styles of these players who at least made the winners semis. Obviously, I'm talking about a different, you know, a parallel universe where Leda made this the finals. But yeah, Druid and Rogue here for Shy. And it is a pretty standard token Druid that I think, did you guys run into the Druid last game, or did it get banned?
We did.
Right. And on ChongGEr's end, it's going to be the Warrior, Druid, and Hunter. I'm actually pretty excited to see this Warrior. When I casted him earlier, it got banned out, but it is N'Zoth. Does have a Tinkmaster, Overspark, Elise, Starseeker, 2x Infested Tauren, Chill Moss, Sylvanas, Cairn, and 2 Revenges to his name. Obviously the Barnes in there as well, so I kind of want to see that coming out. If he does bring it out, it will run against the Druid or the Rogue, so actually this is not a bad spot for it to come out.
Yeah, I see Shy probably running out his Druid though. Like, you don't really want to risk the Rogue versus Hunter matchup here, I don't think.
Right.
A lot of players do tend to stick with their previous deck.
It's difficult, right? Because ChongGEr doesn't have the most aggressive Hunter. It can really swing, right? Because if Face Hunter was still in the meta right now, it would still counter Rogue pretty badly. The only problem is that Rogue isn't really played all that often, so there's no real reason to play it because it doesn't do that well against anything else. On the other hand, if you go straight mid-range Hunter with not many early drops, you just have a couple of 1-drops, not no ways to kind of punish the Rogue for doing what it likes to do best, then your bigger minions just get sapped away like Savannah Highmane, and that can be problematic. But we are going to be getting into the next game and seeing what these players choose. And it's going to be the Druid coming up for ChongGEr here, and the Rogue. We've seen this matchup a few times, and wow, okay, Shy is not shy about his plans here. Gonna go ahead and keep Tomb Pillager and Gadgets and says, you know what? Who needs early game?
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of the time the Druid is either ramping or removing things with their cheaper spells, not really pushing the board that quickly. I mean, unless you have the innervate crazy turns with some tokens, but
and thinking about it from the side of Shy, what does he really do early game that competes there? It's going to be just removal. He's probably going to find removal anyway. Coming up here, he just really needs to have Gadgetzin.
Yeah.
And Tomb Pillager is one of the best complements to Gadgetzin. You get a nice 4-drop that your opponent needs to deal with, and then you get the coin off of that anyway. So a really interesting keep here from Shy, and the more I think about it, the more I agree with him. It's just really funny that he made that mulligan so quickly. It shows how experienced he is with the deck. And this is a standard Rogue turn 2. He's actually going... Oh, not going to attack. Okay, I was going to say, considering his curve here, doesn't really need to be attacking. Probably save that dagger up for future date. And standard Druid, wild growth on turn 2. Every time. Works like a charm.
This guy's toast.
I'm sad Shy didn't Shadow Strike the face there. Get that 5 damage in. Set it up for the future. Obviously, I'm kidding. All right, Yogg is picked up here for ChongGEr. We could see some fireworks later in the game, but needs to praise Yogg adequately. Needs to get enough spells into that beast. Not actually beast archetype, obviously, but
it's a beast of a card, though.
It's a beast of a card. All right, well, everything going as planned here for Shy. Obviously, dealing with the wild growth on turn 2 from Druid is difficult, but he's gotten to turn 4 pretty seamlessly, without any massive damage to his face. And gonna go ahead and play out this Tomb Pillager. Works pretty well when in 2 turns you get to go Gadgetzin, Coin, Conceal.
Yeah, that's gonna be a pretty beastly turn there.
Oh, I forgot to mention actually that the Druid here from ChongGEr is actually Malygos Druid.
Yeah.
And
is he running a single Gadgetzin as well, or is he
no Gadgetzin if I remember correctly? Yeah, just all the token nonsense and wow, Shy could not play that Drake fast enough. Just get it on the field, covering the intern button. Like, yeah, I could play Drake or I could play SI7 Agent naked on the board. No, we're playing the Drake, obviously. And I think Shy has actually broken the game here. What did ChongGEr play out from his hand? It's kind of difficult to see. All right, while production gets on this, we can kind of tell you what's going on here. So it was Drake into a pretty quick turn there from ChongGEr, so likely the Violet Teacher, I would imagine, plus some other stuff in order to clear off the board. And then from there, it's a pretty obvious Gadgetzin into the Coin, Conceal. Don't think there's any issues with the players themselves, so once we get back into the game on our side, from the spectator side, we should be able to tell you what's going on, but pretty good guess as to what's happening.
Yeah, we really need to see what Shy is drawing from that Gadgetzin turn here to really determine.
Well, he only gets 2 draws, but he only gets 2 draws from the Coin, Conceal, and we actually do see, oh, okay, so not really sure if the Violet Teacher was still in hand, but if the Violet Teacher was played, all right, was not actually played. We don't unfortunately have the history on the left side here, but it's going to be. Oh, he's just going to Yogg. Okay. Yeah. ChongGEr says, you know what? I can't deal with this gadget. It's going to lose me the game if I leave it on the field. So here comes Yogg. And brawl right
here
away.
we go.
This is a massive brawl.
50-50 chance here for either guy.
Wow,
Oh!
Gaston survives. Shy shakes his head. Shadow Flame, a spell too late. Heals the opponent. Ancestral healing. Another brawl with nothing. Cursiver from Shy doesn't get. He draws a card off the Cursiver.
Oh, here we go. Does it hit?
Hits his own face. Yogg, what are you doing? This Yogg, Yogg, you're just drunk. And Shy can actually play this Cursiver Farm and actually draw a card off of it. It actually just helps him.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
it. Does he have lethal somehow here? Deadly Poison brings up to 7 damage. The Eviscerate is would be 11.
Yeah.
Plus a Cold Blood. All right, he doesn't really care. He's not going to die anyway. Might as well just load up the damage as much as possible and push damage to the face. I don't believe he has lethal. But yeah, ChongGEr doesn't really care. He is going to concede, and Shy is going to go up 2-0 in a hurry.
I don't think I've ever seen a Yogg fall flat on its face like that before.
I can say I have, but I can't. Usually, it's just a bunch of nothing, right? You're playing a bunch of spells that do nothing, circle of healing, you know, what have you. But to get so tantalizingly close to clearing the board, to clearing the one thing, Yogg, you had one job. You had to just kill that Gadsden. What are you doing, pyroblasting yourself in the face? What are you doing, playing Brawl before Shadow Flame?
Yeah, it's almost like Yogg was teasing him, you know, like. It was Brawl, Shadow Flame, which he couldn't use that, and then a second Brawl, which did nothing as well. You're like, what are you doing, Yogg? You're just teasing me now.
The funny thing is that ChongGEr just played the Yogg to clear the board. He didn't care if it did anything else. If it gave him like a Call of the Wild, it's like, okay, great. But he just wanted to clear the Gadsden because that guy was going to get out of control fast, and he knew it. And he knew just even with a few spells, all he needed to do was kill the one Gadsden.
Yeah, couldn't even do that. He had one job, Yogg. Come on, man.
He had one job, and he did the exact opposite, actually just help the Gadsden. He's like, you know what, Gadsden, let me just give you another card that you can draw off of, and let me just go ahead and Pyroblast him off here in the face, and yeah. Yogg, I think he's been having too much Singa here in Thailand.
Yeah.
Singa being a Thai beer.
Right.
It's a Thai beer, right?
I believe so.
Right, I had a few of those the other day. It's pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Pretty good. Don't have too many though.
But not for Yogg though. When you're counted on to win the Southeast Asia Major, maybe lay off the Singa Yogg. Maybe try to focus a little bit. But that is 2-0 for Shy, and I know that, you know, having been in this situation before, typically it's kind of surreal, right? You're focused, you're getting into it like, okay, winners finals, I can do this, I can win this, and then you're like, oh, I'm just up 2-0, and it can get dicey. You know, sometimes your opponent's hard to come back, but you know, sometimes it just ends up being a 3-0 here. That's obviously what Shy is looking for, but for ChongGEr, he has a say in this still. You know, maybe he can bring back the reverse sweep.
I mean, just looking at the deck that he has left, it's a token druid. No real glaring weaknesses there.
Right.
So yeah, this is looking pretty good for him, man.
I have seen token druids lose 3 in a row in these types of situations.
Yeah.
I believe it was best of 7, but you know, that's the thing. All these decks are so fine-tuned that even the top-tier decks can lose because they're not, you know, so polarized. They're kind of just like 50-50 matchups all across the board, and some good play, you know, can lead to just a 3-0 there.
I mean, a lot of it does come down to can ChongGEr, you know, keep his composure, just make the plays that he usually does, and not let the situation affect his mindset at all.
All right, well, ChongGEr has switched over to the N'Zoth Warrior, and I'm pretty happy just to see this on the big stage here. I wonder if he did that for us, right? He's like, well, I need to win with it anyway. The position doesn't really matter. I might as well give the fans something to look at because no one's really playing this deck here, this tournament.
I'm excited for sure to see how this deck plays out.
Yeah, looking at this, I think this is actually one of the decks that is, or one of the matchups that does provide a little bit of polarization here. I think that the N'Zoth Warrior is a pretty heavy favorite.
Okay.
Like around 60 plus, which is about as high as you can get these days. And the reason why is because with if there was Malagos Druid, it'd be a little bit different, but there isn't really any way for Shy to disrupt what ChongGEr is trying to do. And if he plays the wide board, then it gets brawled. If he plays some of his Arcane Giants, then they just get killed because the Control Warrior has more removal than any other deck, or more single target removal. And so as long as ChongGEr draws reasonably well and doesn't get completely, you know, outdone on the side of Shy, then I feel like ChongGEr, he just kind of grinds out the game until the Druid has nothing to do left. Alright, well Shy is not too happy about seeing his living rooms go away to just the battle cry of another minion. Gonna actually commit the swipe here, and to those of you thinking, why doesn't he go Wild Growth into Wrath? For Shy's sake, he wants to actually use that Wild Growth on turn 10 with Violet Teacher. He's thinking about all the Violet Teacher implications going forward, and it's much easier to use Wrath with Violet Teacher, much easier to use, or excuse me, it's better to use the Wild Growth with Violet Teacher to generate 2 1/1s for 0 cards and 2 mana. So he's looking forward to that in the future, playing the long game. And if you go for the Wild Growth and Wrath right now, you're really making it hard on yourself because you can't really combine Swipe with Violet Teacher later on.
I mean, looking at his hand at the time as well, he had an Innervate plus a coin. And the Ancient War, he would have been able to play that with the Innervate as he just did anyways, so...
Right, so very smart play by Shy, but unfortunately ChongGEr has Slam Executes, and he is perfectly happy just keep armoring up right now.
Yeah. Just playing for the super late game here. Oh, nice.
That is quite the pickup here. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to Wrath, but he kind of needs to just pull the trigger and hope that there isn't any answer here. Looks like it's going to be Emperor Cobra, yeah. And Moonblade Portal most likely. Although Power of the Wild not too bad right now. I think it's between Power of the Wild and the Moonblade Portal. Can't really see Mark of Yasharaj ever being chosen here. But between those two choices, it's pretty difficult. Power of the Wild, pretty good tempo right now. Moonblade Portal is the biggest minion later. Also, the 5 health could matter. I'm not sure if ChongGEr is running, or excuse me, the 6 health versus the 5 health if he does go for the Power of the Wild, because I'm not sure if ChongGEr runs double slam, but he could slam Fiery War Axe, and that could be a way he deals with it. So I'm gonna take that much of a chance here for Shy, and instead, also there's the bash as well, looking at it. But Barnes Shield Slam is probably going to be what happens here, and Justicar, it's just a 1/1.
Yeah, one of the worst options there, because a Death Rattle bit would have been nice there, but unfortunately, it's just going to be a vanilla 1/1 here.
Well, Shy does pick up an Arcane Giant, which is kind of what he needed at this point. No real reason to deal with the board. A lot of times you see Barnes come down and your immediate gut response is like, I need to kill that, and then you look at the board like, oh, okay, it's actually just a 3/4 and a 1/1. Okay, no big deal.
Yeah, we just saw an Execute come out as well, so pretty low chance the second one's already in hand here.
The issue here for Shy is that even though there's no response in the hand of ChongGEr here, he's responded to everything else so efficiently that he's gotten himself up to 36 health and can just sit back and take this Arcane Giant to the face and just kill it the hard way with minions, and nothing really that Shy can do about it, unfortunately. Looks like he's gonna get a Moonblade Portal onto his Arcane Giant, which is very good use of the Moonblade Portal, excuse me. And let's see what comes out of here. Want something like a 6/7. Wow, gets Illidan.
This could be cool.
And yeah, Coin makes it 2/1, and the Emperor Cobra makes it 2/1 as well. Unfortunately, that makes it weaker to Brawl. So
yeah, true.
This looks like it's probably just going to be Karen smacking in the face and brawling here.
Wow, Shy is fearless here.
Tinkmaster Overspark off the top. The good thing here for Shy though is even if his board gets cleared by Brawl, he then is able to maybe make a big board with File Teacher in the future. That's the only real solace he can find in this if the Brawl clears the entire board here. ChongGEr's, going through his options here though. He could theoretically play it slow and just go for the Rag. Probably has to trade off his Karen into the Cobra though, which is not the best feeling. But yeah, this is the more he thinks about it, it's like just Brawl. And this is pretty big here.
Who's gonna come out on top here?
I vote Karen, just to make it all. It's going to be the Cobra.
Oh.
Not too bad if you are Shy. It could have been better, but at least it's not a 2/1. That said, ChongGEr does go ahead and take care of it. So never mind, I take it all back. It was dealt with, so. All right, Shine, gonna cycle here almost certainly. He's not looking to be in the great spot. That's a good pickup though.
Yeah.
Really needed that for the reload. And that's what he needed.
Yeah, he's got a really good potential Violet Teacher turn here coming up.
Yeah, it's probably going to just be the Hero Power Pass. I think he's thinking about whether he wants to Hero Power the Bane. He might, but then he's getting a little bit low. And yeah, the Living Roots is not going to kill it off anyway. So next turn, almost certainly going to be Violet Teacher, Wild Growth, Excess Mana, Living Roots, and Power of the Wild. Could fit in a multi there as well since this Rag is hitting the board. But yeah, even with this big board coming up from Shy, I'm not sure it's going to ate him all that much. Alright, so how much mana do we have to do this? Okay, we can go Vile Teacher with the Wild Growth, and then that's at 6. He has some Mulch, which means he can't really power the Wild, unfortunately, but he's already seen one Ravaging Ghoul. Unfortunately, for his sake, there's actually 2 Revenges in the deck, and we see one in ChongGEr's hand, so without playing the Power of the Wild, this gets pretty difficult. In fact, yeah, he's not going to actually Wild Growth here. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, I got Tunnel Vision on the Wild Growth, but it doesn't need to do that. It's probably better just go ahead and do this and play the Power of the Wild.
Feels pretty bad to get Tunnel Trog down.
Yeah, when you get Tunnel Trog, you can't really think straight. Not a bad minion here from ChongGEr. It turns his hero power into removal. Alright, this looks like a second brawl here. He's already seen one Fandral, already seen one Vile Teacher with a lot of fuel added into it, so really looks like a brawl turn. He could potentially... No? Okay. I was thinking maybe he could run to the Vile Teacher first. It doesn't really make any sense because he doesn't have mana to Savage Combatant plus hero power afterward. This brawl doesn't really matter too much. He can Tink Master even if the Vile Teacher survives. And does the Bane survive? The Bane survives. Oh my goodness.
Hurts a lot.
Yeah, the brawl matters when your own minion survives. I wasn't really thinking about that, obviously, but ChongGEr, the world's at his fingertips right now. Gonna go ahead and see what he might play next. He's thinking about potential Yogg. He could actually just hero power pass. Could play the Infested Torn, set up for the N'Zoth, but yeah, pretty much anything is fine here.
ChongGEr finally finding some luck after that horrendous Yogg from last game.
Yeah, does decide to go for the Infested Torn again. I think this is going to be Wild Growth, excess mana, Innervate, Yogg.
Yes.
Not much on the board, but you are at 8 health, so.
Right.
Well, he could actually now just Moonblade Portal and swipe. Yeah, he's going to go for that. Just go for it first because he could actually get... Wow, gets the Beast. Okay, interesting. So you do actually want to Moonblade Portal first because you could get... There are some minions like Illidan, like we saw earlier, where you can get extra stuff off it. So... I think there's another minion too that benefits from spells. Not really too sure.
No time for
Alright, well, just the one is just the board as well as Savage Companion. Just filling the board. And the biggest thing here for ChongGEr is that even if his board gets cleared by Yogg, he has the reload with N'Zoth.
Yep. That's really kind of the card you want to save Yogg for.
Yeah.
You know, like once the N'Zoth's been played, but he can't afford to wait at all here.
The funny thing is Shy kind of wants... If the Sylvanas dies, he wants to just draw... You know, like just 8 sprints in a row, essentially.
Whoa.
But yeah, Misdirection, Power of the Wild, Mind Control on the Sylvanas would be huge.
Oh!
Yes, the Sylvanas! Bloodlust. What we see is a charge here. Hellfire is kind of risky here for Shy. Could die in the near future. Corruption has to go in an enemy minion. Sinister Strike doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Heroic Strike can take out one of these minions if he so chooses. Blood to Icar, gonna make someone that's a bit weaker. Shiv. On this one wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
And Conceal is pretty interesting as well. Flame Lance to kill the Yogg. Yogg has to die at some point, right? Yo, okay. He does clear off Savage Combatant, Ancestral Spirit on purple his own minion. No. It goes on to the Finkel Einhorn, and just actually gonna hit the face here is Shy, but unfortunately for Shy, ChongGEr does have the Revenge. Oh, actually, Revenge. I keep thinking that he had the proc on Revenge, but no. He is not at 12. Actually, Shy is at 12, which is typically, or 9, obviously, under 12, which is not a situation you see this matchup in typically.
No, that was an amazing Yogg, actually.
Yeah, I think for ChongGEr here, he just wanted to probably give up his Finkel, because you just want to kill the Sylvanas. So I think it's going to be attack the face. If there's a bear, it's not too big of a deal. And then you go ahead and Revenge. I guess you could Revenge first as well. The secret was Misdirection. So actually Misdirection is really good for ChongGEr here because he can hit one of these minions.
He's probably really worried about... Freezing Trap wouldn't actually be that bad, actually, if it was.
I'm actually curious about the Summoning Sickness here. So if Sylvanas takes the Finkel, does it wait until does it die when it comes to his turn, or does it...
Oh, yeah, it's interesting.
I think it retains Summoning Sickness and it's not dead yet.
Did he get the... Was the Sylvanas summoned before? Because Death Rattle's...
Yeah, the Sylvanas was on the board beforehand, so I believe that's how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Revenge is going to come out. ChongGEr knows that it's not the snake. Oh, he's just going to go for N'Zoth.
Okay.
That surprises me quite a bit here. I
Yeah.
think Shy has a chance now.
Yeah, wow, like that Sylvanas steal was so huge.
He can... Okay, what is the best thing that Shy can take here? Guaranteed, I mean. Wrath is a pretty big pickup. Because he can now aim his Sylvanas pretty effectively.
Yeah. Maybe he's considering Power of the Wild just because he has so many minions.
I was
but-
already considering this game over.
Yeah, same.
Shy has really made... And the thing is, we've seen 2 brawls, so there's no real way to get rid of the 0-mana Arcane Giant potentially coming up.
Exactly.
And so what is the play here, though? He's not even going to play Moonglade Portal. Not really too much danger as long as he starts clearing the board. Oh, nope, he is going to play the Moonglade Portal.
Okay. Might as well play it super safe.
Alright, well, 5-5 isn't the greatest here, but it's not the worst either. And... Gonna make some of these trades. He's either going to get a Cairn... Oh, he's going to get the Cairn, okay. He's going to guarantee... No, wait. Okay, he's going to get a Bane or 5-7. Alright.
No, he's gonna get the N'Zoth no matter what.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yep. Summoning order. Yeah, you're right. Okay, well, Shy's made a game of it,
Wow.
surprisingly.
Comeback of the tournament so far, I think. Wow. I mean, actually, the comeback of the tournament would be if ChongGEr now comes back and sweeps. But
Yeah.
it's looking super difficult.
We'll come back of the tournament in a specific game, the game category. So ChongGEr can't actually proc his own revenge right here. You can actually bash your own face, and the damage goes first, and you can get down low enough sometimes. But yeah, if he Fire War Axes, he goes down to 19, and then he bashes his own face, he goes down to 16. So that's not possible right now. Looks like he's just going to use the bash in this way, and then use the Tingmaster Overspark.
Whoa.
Does get the squirrel! Oh my goodness, that is insane. That is the best result by far. All of the other results are way worse.
Yeah, I mean, turning the 8/8 into a 5/5 dinosaur isn't like the worst, but it's still pretty bad.
Right, and the 5-5 into a 1-1 would still leave an 8-8. 5-5 into the 5-5 was the worst, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's also looking okay for ChongGEr here, but he's gonna have to face up against a Sylvanas and a Vile Teacher.
I have no time for games.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, does ChongGEr actually have much card draw in his deck?
He has, I believe, 1 Acolyte. I don't think he has any loot hoarders though, so despite it being in the Zoth deck. So yeah, that's obviously a pretty huge deal. He has Elise, which is Cycle. And yeah, not much, just looking at it.
Yeah, so he is going to be just drawing 1 card at a time here for a while his opponent's drawn Nourish. So he's going to be able to reload his hand here.
That said, if you're Shy, or if you're ChongGEr, you're looking at, you know, not much damage coming here from Shy, not much burst damage, I would say, from hand. He's taking a lot every single turn, but if he can get a good revenge off, then this could swing the game. He needs to find probably an execute pretty quickly here, though.
Yeah, for the Ancient War, it's pretty troublesome.
Ooh,
Oh!
there you go. That's an execute. I think he's... Okay, hold on. So, 14, 15 damage on board. He can potentially go to 20 and take this really risky. It might be better to just take it risky and don't do anything this turn. But again, it's pretty risky. The thing is, if he goes Ravaging Ghoul into Revenge...
The scroll sound effects are so cute.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, this makes sense here from ChongGEr. Don't want to have anything crazy happen, but he is leaving his Ravaging Ghoul open to getting Wrath here.
I'm almost out of cards.
And I was about to say, Shy has drawn through a lot of his deck, and he can't even really play these Drakes anymore.
Could
He
this go to
can,
fatigue?
but yes. Well, obviously he's 1 card left here for Shy, so he's gonna play the Drake. He wants to just get that power onto the board. He needs to kill his opponent as fast as possible, and that's Power of the Wild. So that actually is a lot of
Yeah.
extra damage.
With Mire Keeper as well next turn.
All right,
he's
so
gonna have 2
ChongGEr can
bodies.
actually activate his own Revenge here, and he can slam first. So slam on the Sylvanas, hit the Drake, and Revenge. And I think that ChongGEr is actually going to win this at this point.
Yeah, wow. This has been an insane game so far. So many swings.
Yeah, I think ChongGEr has it. Wait, what is he
Wow.
doing? He needs to attack first.
Yeah.
He needs to proc it first, yeah. Otherwise, Sylvanas doesn't die. All right. That should be it. Shy is probably going to play out his hand and see if he can't just get a bunch of damage in. But with the Shield Slam in hand, I think it's really hard for Shy to win this.
Yeah, and also with cards like Justicar, True Heart, impending to be drawn here from ChongGEr.
Okay,
He's
so
gonna
for
be able to gain so much armor.
All right, so for Shy to win this, ChongGEr needs to draw dead like 3 turns in a row here. Oh, that's not dead. That's not a dead draw. Not in the slightest. That's a secondary advantage. Okay, that's finally going to be game. There's no way for Shy to come back from this.
Yep, he's going to be able to clear board here. And with a Wrath and a Power of the Wild, there's no way to come back.
Yep.
I concede.
There's the concede. All right, we have a series in our hands, Mauro.
Yeah, that
2
must
games
have
to
felt
1.
really good for ChongGEr there after that insane Yogg from an almost seemingly impossible position for Shy, brought him back into it. But ChongGEr played it super patient, kept his composure, and managed to eke that win out. Now he is 1 win closer to making a reverse sweep here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's certainly possible. He is running the Mali Druid as well as the Hunter, and certainly things that can defeat the Druid on the side of Shy. Still an uphill battle, though. I still kind of like Shy's chances to win, just, you know,
Sure.
just the numbers, right? He needs to only win 1 more, but pretty good game. I'm pretty happy we saw the Zoth Warrior finally come out. But yeah, it's we'll see what comes up here. Obviously, that Warrior worked out pretty well in the end. Kind of insane that the mind control came in the Sylvanas. Typically, you see the Yogg get stolen, not the other way around when you have a Sylvanas on the field. But
Sylvanas getting some of her own medicine there.
definitely. But yeah, got really close at the end there. Felt like it was just kind of game over, unless the Yogg was, you know, something like double Call the Wild plus, you know, Infest on everything.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, step number 1 was taking that Sylvanas. Came really down to the wire, but good decision making there by ChongGEr, I got to say, because there was a temptation to play it very riskily, and I was thinking maybe he takes the damage and then just holds on to the revenge. But with the Fiery War Axe, he was able to proc it himself at a really nice spot at just 11 health. So worked out pretty well for him. As you can see on the screen, there are a couple decks left here for ChongGEr if he wants to go to the grand finals, whereas here for Shy, he just win with his Druid.
Yeah. Kind of interesting that these two guys are the names in the upper bracket finals. Like, we had a lot of kind of big names come into this tournament. People like Tin Ping Ho and stuff like that.
Yeah,
To
land
have
winners, Tom. So
Right, to have these two be in the upper finals, it's awesome to have a open bracket system like this where anybody can come in and challenge.
yeah, absolutely. And we are getting to the next game here. It's going to be Druid Mirror, but not a complete Druid Mirror if you think about what they have in their decks. Malagos on the side of ChongGEr, and pretty standard token Druid on the side here for Shy.
Both guys got ramp already in their hands, so it's going to be a good start for both dudes.
Yeah. Turn 2 Wild Growth, pretty nice for Druid. ChongGEr's going to go ahead and play out his Living Roots right now. Living Roots isn't the best in this matchup. It can be supplemented with Wrath to get something off. But, you know, if you assume your opponent is going to be Wild Growthing here, if they hero power, that means they don't have Wild Growth. If they do Wild Growth, then you punish them by getting a bit of damage in. The only issue with the strategy here for ChongGEr is that Shy is actually running 2 Moonblade portals.
Yeah.
So the damage isn't really going to stick as well as it would for other Druids.
Attention, class.
The Violet Teacher gets thrown out there, hoping that doesn't get removed here.
Yeah, Shy is a really quick player, by the way. Just throws all the stuff out there. And it's just going to be Moonfire now. Obviously, save that for Malagos if you can. And what does Shy play out here? Probably going to be the Drake just to get some sort of board presence. Nurse can be nice, but you're giving initiative to your opponent, and you really can't get the initiative back because Drake plus Living Roots doesn't really kill anything. Alright, back over to ChongGEr here. He has the ability to go for Violet Teacher plus Raven Idol, and if he picks up a Living Roots, he can kill off the Drake here while building a board.
Let's see what he gets.
And picks it right away. It's going to be the swipe here.
Okay.
And probably a couple of mediocre options on top of that. But going to leave the Drake up here, which makes it a bit easier for Shy to deal with the board. And ChongGEr, I'm not really sure what he's thinking about. I think he's thinking about whether or not he wants to trade in his sapling into the Drake, but in the end, just gets the damage to face. Swipe kind of just, kills him anyway. He has swipe in hand.
Yeah. A little bit of an awkward turn 6 here. He's going to nourish, though.
That's a pretty big draw if he draws another removal spell, but does not. So yeah, the dream there was Innervate plus a removal spell to start clearing out this board, make use of that spell damage, but the Living Roots, unfortunately, by itself is not going to do enough here. All right.
Yeah, looks like
So-
he's happy to trade it.
Looks like he values Innervate over Living Roots because he could have gone for the Innervate into Hero Power here. And obviously Swipe would have been a bit of a punish if he did go for Living Roots plus Hero Power. Alright, coin into Arcane Giant here for ChongGEr. Gets to play that again next turn. No mulch in the hand of Shy. But he does have his own potential Arcane Giant. And looks like he's going for it, I think.
Attention, class.
Alright, very quick math here from Shy. I don't know if he's going to go
Six,
ahead and
7
play
mana,
the...
yeah.
he's going to go ahead and play the Ancient War.
Okay, yeah, just put that body in the way of that Arcane Giant. 8/8 damage. Don't want to take that to the face here.
Right.
Especially knowing your opponent has a Malagos Druid, like that burst to
Yeah.
finish you off is pretty big.
Yeah, exactly. The extra damage is certainly pretty huge here. The other consideration is that he can always maybe get an Arcane Giant for cheaper later, but obviously the Ancient War is always going to be 7 mana. Unless you have the Thorson, but then you have to play the Thorson first, and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
And with actually the Moonglade Portal in hand as well, if that Ancient War stays alive, you can swing in, heal that back up. It's going to be quite refreshed there for further use.
Yeah, definitely. ChongGEr, unfortunately, is actually 1 mana off being able to use Swipe Hero Power Moonfire and kill off this Ancient War without using his Giant. But I'm going to go ahead and go at it this way. Clear the board. Leave behind 8/3 Giant. Has Giant for the future turns and Malagos. And all of a sudden, Shy, despite having an extremely dense hand, finding himself in a bit of a trouble here. So he's 1 mana off being able to go for Living Roots Hero Power, facing the damage, and go for the Arcane Giant, unfortunately. And that doesn't feel too great. And looks like it's just going to be the Arcane Giant.
Surely it's the Saplings.
Right. He can maybe set up for the 8/1 or for the punch next turn with your Hero Power, but yeah. With having just seen this swipe, certainly this makes much more sense. Okay, if ChongGEr picks up an Innervate, he can actually go for Azure Drake and play the Giant on the same turn. Question is if you just want to get the tempo out here right now. The other consideration is he can go Azure Drake into Moonfire and clear off the Ancient of War. But he can do that with Hero Power anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the difference between the decks. One of the differences between the decks is that ChongGEr isn't really afraid to take damage, whereas Shy, he needs to watch the damage he takes.
Alright, really looking for a mulch here. He's going to be able to cycle some more if he chooses.
He could also just play the Arcane Giant if he wants.
Yeah.
Have that on the board. Moonglade Portal's reasonable, but the Hero Power from Malfurion just goes and takes away your sapling. So if this is 6 attack, he needs to, does get the Sea Reaver. And probably just wants to trade into saplings, I would say. There is no taunt in the deck of ChongGEr, so I'm gonna go ahead and trade in.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he just healed himself for 6, but he's gonna take 8 to the face. Almost certainly.
I mean, it's not too bad though, because Shy has seen 1 Living Roots at least.
I think he's gonna play Temple Malagos.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah. Because he knows there's no mulch.
Yeah.
You don't just leave an Arcane Giant up.
Yeah.
And are we gonna see Yogg here? There have been 7 spells we can see, but Shy deems that not enough spells. Still no answer for Yogg, or excuse me, for Malagos. And this is gonna be a 9 damage swipe. Ooh. 10 actually damage swipe with the Drake. So yeah, goodbye Arcane Giant. Goodbye Azure Drake. I think this has to be Yogg.
As well.
Yeah. This has to be Yogg.
You can't risk another, some more burst getting.
Oh, he's gonna heal. Immediately
Wow.
heals. I suppose. Okay, well another 6/7 here. And goes for that first because he could have gotten a minion that benefits off of that. I am super surprised he is going for this. Just risking more spells on the side of ChongGEr. And he might even go for Healing Touch, actually. Starfall would be a way to start cleaning up the Malagos, but I feel like he's relying on Yogg to do that for him.
Yeah. So Healing Touch, probably.
Looking on the side of Chong, I mean, look at Chai. He is at 17 health, and ChongGEr has 8 on board.
Plus hero power.
One swipe is lethal. Living Roots is almost lethal. Azure Drake Living Roots would be lethal here. Doesn't pick it up, so yeah, gonna be Azure Drake. Living Roots is lethal, I'm pretty sure here. If I've done my math correctly. Nourish is not, but he can't just go double Power the Wild for buffing, and that makes his board really hard to kill, even with Yogg.
Still going all in on like that on the board right now.
Yeah, true.
It's pretty risky.
Yeah, you do have a point there. The nice thing for ChongGEr though is he can actually just go all face. He has no worries about dying. He doesn't really care about this Boulderfist Ogre. So he's gonna draw, and how much is Moonfire right now? It's 6, 7, 8. So 8, 16 would be 1 damage off lethal. If he gets Innervate plus Moonfire, he's lethal. And does not get it. Gets a Yogg though. Can Shy risk another? Oh, yeah, no, he can't.
No, definitely not. He goes for it. Let's hope it's as good as the last one he got.
Power Shot, not a bad start.
Yeah.
Armor Fusion doesn't do anything. Snake Trap doesn't really do much. Healing Wave, this really matters where it goes.
Yeah, if that. Here we
He
go.
needs to hit his own face, most likely.
If it hits Malagos, that'd be funny. Oh!
Oh no. Oh no. That was the worst by far. Blessing of Wisdom is okay if he lives. Mind Vision.
Okay, does he get Yogg? Oh.
No, Raven Idol. Mortal Coil, no spell damage. Shadow Form needs that armor though.
Yeah.
Special healing on his own minion potentially. Okay, that's reasonable. Divine Spirit on the Yogg.
Oh, is that Yogg?
Oh, nope. C minus Yogg. Is it lethal here for ChongGEr? Maybe. Hold on. He can double Power the Wild and... Well, he's going to Raven Owl first because he could just get lethal off of that. Any damage spell that can target the face is lethal here. Shy is not happy about this, and that's
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Way more than enough. And ChongGEr is going to take this to a game number 5 here. 12 damage to the face. It's a little bit of damage.
Yeah, what a roller coaster of Yogg emotions this series has been. As this whole tournament has been, to be honest.
Look at ChongGEr. He's like, yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
Easy game. Let's bring it to game number 5. Both of these players 1 game off.
And it's going to be Hunter versus that Token Druid that we just saw.
Yeah, and I was mentioning before, sometimes Token Druid can just get 3-0'd. It's really strong. It's a really strong deck, but every strong deck can falter sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think if he had Yogg a turn earlier? Well, I guess it just depends on what the Yogg.
Yeah,
we can't speculate at all.
Well, okay, it gave him 2 more spells, and you can run the numbers and see how likely it is you clear the board. You know, you build your own board, get some survivability. But he took a lot of damage in the meantime. He was risking just lethal, and you know, considering the amount of mana that his opponent had, it wasn't like guaranteed that he wasn't going to die the next turn, or it wasn't guaranteed that he didn't have the spells in hand. Is what I want to say. So yeah, tough decisions there for Shy. Interesting to see, like you mentioned, if Yogg had gone earlier, if it would have cleared the board. But you do have a point though. Maybe you need to praise Yogg a bit more. Yeah. If you don't have faith in the Yogg, then Yogg's, you know what? You didn't believe him in before. Screw it. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and do weird things like
it's a cruel mistress.
Yeah, or Mister.
Does Yogg have a gender or a sex?
He has a very low pitched voice. I know there are women with low pitched voice, but
Yogg is just massive though, so the vocal cords must be pretty long as well. So.
Oh yeah, true. I guess there are pretty big animals out there with low voices.
Yeah, I mean, a female elephant probably has a pretty low voice.
Oh, it's actually have surprisingly high.
Oh,
don't they when they like the elephants? I'm like, that's my elephant voice, by the way. That's just for you, Twitch.
It's like when they roll their trunk up and turn it into like a trumpet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it sounds like a trumpet, exactly. what animal? Guys, tweet. Looks like we're getting to the next game, but before we get to the next game, guys, go ahead and hashtag Hearthstone SEA Major and tweet at us what animal sound.
Yeah. I was thinking whale, but their voice is actually super high.
Oh, are they? Oh, right.
Those whale calls. pretty high pitch. But let's forget about the animal calls and concentrate on the game here. It
Never.
is Game 5 of the upper bracket finals here. The winner of this game will go on to the grand finals.
All right,
Stakes
so
are super high.
sorry to cut you off there. Shy, I was about to say Living Roots in the Wild Growth is the dream, but not when you get Moonglade Portal off the top. He does have 2 draws here to get a 4-drop,
Yeah.
so not looking too bad for him. He can potentially go all face here with his saplings and then try to pick up the kill on the Fiery Bat next turn. Especially because he might have to hero power anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes both face here because there's no Han Master coming up next turn.
He's thinking about it.
I think I would go both face here. Because he can always do this next turn, right? Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Alright, well, ChongGEr, it could be... Quickshot just feels really bad here. If he gets the kill on this, it's really nice for Animal Companion. Does go face, unfortunately, for him. So if he coins into Huffer, it would actually be the worst situation.
Yeah. Misha would be great.
Strange as it sounds, though, Quickshot, it doesn't really have a target right now, so you could actually just go for coin Animal Companion into Quickshot the next turn, even if it's off curve, but does decide to just play it slow and go for the hero power. And yeah, okay, Moonglade Portal, let's go. 6-drop. Better than hero powering, right? Let's just do it.
Yeah. He's got 2 in hand as well, so.
Right, Skeleton Knight can be pretty devastating if it wins these jousts. And no real way to kill it right now, other than Huffer.
True. It's a bit of a risk, though, to go for that, but...
The issue here for Shy, though, is he wanted something with more health that he could Moonglade Portal.
Just not Leon.
Ooh,
Okay.
wow, that is the best Animal Companion. Let's see if he wins the joust, though.
Oh,
Does
wins.
win the joust, but he doesn't have a play for next turn. He wants the Azure Drake in hand right now.
Oh!
Whoa! Gets it off the top. Things looking pretty good for Shy. ChongGEr not happy with that one.
No, not at all.
And
yeah.
you know that ChongGEr knows that it came right off the top because he immediately played it.
Yeah.
All right, ChongGEr gonna keep playing it slow here. Wants to save that coin for potentially either High Main or Call the Wild. But gonna be a healed up Azure Drake here. Another 6-drop. This is pretty big. And Justicar is one of the worst, so a bit of relief here for ChongGEr.
Yeah, that quick shot. Or actually abusive.
Right. He
Clean
needs
that
either
6-3.
one, though. You can't really be taking 6 to the face or giving your opponent a really good trade as well.
Yeah.
So probably going to be the abusive as well as just hero power, unfortunately. Oh, he's going to do it this way.
Okay.
Huh. Interesting.
I mean, yeah.
Sure. Fangel is a pickup here. He can't really combine it with anything, unfortunately. But he can just go Fangel into hero power and make it annoying for the opponent. If it survives, you know your opponent's trying to go into Savannah High Main right now.
Yeah.
So this could be a really, you know, a play on what the Hunter's capable of. I really would like to see the Fangel. Obviously, it's easy for us to say. You know, we can see the hand of ChongGEr, but you know, if you're forcing your opponent not to High Main, then you're doing it pretty well. So Shy, tough decision because if the Spit hits the Azure Drake, then he can't Wrath for 1, so or Wrath for 2, excuse me. But it would have died to the abusive structure anyway, so might as well go ahead and do it this way. So coming up in the future turn, Shy will be able to go for Fangel plus Raven Idol plus Wrath, so that works out in his favor. And we'll see how he deals with this High Main. Ooh, Mulch is not too bad. But
Fandel seems pretty attractive, though.
right. Go with Ravenel first, see what you can't pick up here.
Violet Illusionist.
Well, it's during your turn. It can be useful in the future if you want to face tank something pretty big. Just go for the Evil Heckler, though. I kind of agree with that. All right, this is interesting. Can go for Innervate plus... Oh, just Nourish into Wrath. Okay, sure. Just sell all the mana. He's going to have 10 next turn, potentially. And with these... Thanks, Arcane Giant, for coming to hand, by the way. We can now see how much stuff he has. All right, going to be the Innervate Living Roots as well, and can play the Arcane Giant. Wow, this is insane. This turn has suddenly become insane.
Yeah.
Checking out ChongGEr's reaction, he cannot be happy about this.
This is a great preparation for that coin call of the wild turn here from the hunter.
Right, but When your opponent plays a 0 mana 8/8.
Yeah, it just feels bad.
Absolutely. All right, well. This Huffer has to go into the Fandral because he's not close enough to killing his opponent, and I see a Drake swipe. So,
Ooh.
yeah. How is this going to play out? The thing is, ChongGEr, if he decides to go for the value trades onto the saplings after the Huffer into the Fandral, then he's setting himself up just for a normal swipe as well. So
That's true.
he could also just Huffer and Hyena into the Arcane Giant, if you consider that Shy has played almost all of the Fandral synergistic spells. So
You just don't want to give him that extra synergy, though.
oh, he's going to make this trade so that it goes into the Misha. But little does he know that Drake swipe onto the Misha plus the 2 saplings is going to really hurt. He does set up for next turn for Call of the Wild, however. And Call of the Wild is going to be pretty weak, though. He's going to leave his opponent with a Drake. And you only have Leok and Misha. Shy is looking to be in great spots here. It's hard for him to die from this situation.
Pay attention, class.
And wow, Shy doesn't even feel the need to play the Ancient of War. Just gonna go ahead and play Skeleton Knight. I don't know. Is this really necessary, Shy? Couldn't you have just gone for something? Like even an Evil Heckler, it gets in the way. I guess. He has seen one high main, so this typically wins every single joust. Maybe he just wants to show off. Maybe he just wants to say if he faces ChongGEr in the grand finals, if ChongGEr finishes his way out of the losers bracket, he says, you know what, ChongGEr, get out of here. I'm the real champion. But yeah, this feels like a little bit of BM with the Skeleton Knight hitting the field.
Well, I mean, that threat of the 7 damage to face is so big for ChongGEr now. Already at 16 health.
Yes, that is true. 7 damage is more than 5 for the Ancient War. That is true. You have a point. All right, looks like it's going to be the Argent Horse Rider and probably Quick Shot. You can't face tank it, so. The issue here for ChongGEr is he really wants to save Quick Shot
to draw.
To draw, yeah. The hero power doesn't really matter, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see Bow and
okay, never mind.
and throw in the Leok, but yeah, just want to keep the Leok alive. All right, well, Vile Teacher is going to die. Oh my goodness.
Oh. Is it going to come out again?
Never-ending Skeleton Knight. Yeah, just play it again. The thing is, ChongGEr is actually hurting himself on his own turn, right?
Yeah.
Shy doesn't even need to kill him because ChongGEr is going to kill himself eventually. Skeleton Knight, Evil Heckler, go. 2 cards you don't even put in your deck. No, it's going to be Wild Growth first. Yeah, Shy is not even worried about anything right now. He can just hero power down this Leok. No, I'm just kidding. Shy does not like doing what I like to do. He's like, you know, that D2 guy, I'm going to do things my way.
Yeah, I mean, he has so many big minions in his hand that if he just keeps throwing them out, forcing your opponent to react to them, like, the Hunter's going to run out of steam.
I feel like Twitch chat could win at this point. I mean, you know, Twitch chat, no, not the actual players from Twitch chat, but like Twitch chat plays, you know? Like, where they, you know, just like type in random things on the side. We need this guy's toast to finish out this game. All you need to do is just have Twitch chat randomly pick cards from the bottom, randomly play them onto the field, and I think that Shy is going to win this one. Swipe, Shy can just swipe the face eventually, so he doesn't really want to swipe right now because he can eventually swipe the face. I feel like he could just go for Skeleton Knight, Evil Heckler again, to be honest.
He's probably going to hero power the Toad, right? And then Evil Heckler?
Yeah, it seems like it. Never a third Skeleton Knight.
Nope.
That's bad. This does set up lethal here. If ChongGEr cannot deal with this Evil Heckler, Power of the Wild plus hero power is going to be lethal.
Yeah.
Or just double Power of the Wild. All right, so ChongGEr, is this the end here? And that is it. Going to give it up. And Shy, out of nowhere, going to move on to the grand finals. ChongGEr does move down, but he is in the best position out of all.